The purpose of 75 Hard is for you not to just get in shape, although you will get in shape. The purpose is for you to harden your mind and to build a mindset that is tuned for you to succeed in all areas of life. No one gives a shit about your struggles. No one gives a shit how hard you have it. And to be completely fucking honest, you don't have it that fucking hard. You're watching this shit on YouTube. You didn't have to search for clean water to drink today. You didn't have to fucking go out and get lucky to find a meal today. So let's get real about how hard shit really is. What's hard is actually doing something about it.
The world will never be fair. The world will never, ever be fucking fair. Someone will always have an easier path than you. You're not special. Fucking 17th place doesn't mean shit. It ain't ever gonna mean shit. And if you think it means shit, that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get shit your whole fucking life. That the only thing noble about victimhood is overcoming it. My first 10 years in business, I made $58,000 total. I made $695 a month. First 3 years, I made $0. 3 years, okay? The next 7 years, I made $695 a month for a total of about $58,000 my first 10 years in business. All right, I've struggled. I know what the fucking struggle is. I've been stabbed in the fucking face.
I hope that you understand that every single person that you look at, every single person that you admire, every single person that you aspire to be like is literally just a regular human fucking being like you that has worked their motherfucking ass off. Lots of people have it harder than you. Lots of people have much bigger obstacles than you, and lots of those same motherfuckers have done exactly what you want to do and done it better and taken it further than you. When you sit there and talk about how hard you have it and how hard things are and how hard you're struggling, realize that no one gives a fuck unless you're doing something to overcome it.
You know who has a plan B? Motherfuckers that lose. That's a fact, okay? Every single person that wins big, every single person that you look at, every single person that you're inspired by, every single person that you aspire to be like, they only have one motherfucking plan, and that is they are gonna win or they are gonna die fucking trying, okay? All these people out there talking about, oh, well, if that doesn't work out, I'll just go back to this, which happens to be their miserable life they have now. Those people always lose, and I'll tell you why. There's a real easy reason to understand. Because the people who go all in and leave themselves no other option but success, those people are dedicating all their skills, all their resources, all their energy into producing a specific outcome. And if you're competing against someone who's going all in with every resource they have, and you're only going half in because you're half in and you're half fucking out, guess what? You're gonna lose. So you guys out there with your plan B mentality, you need to take that shit, crumple it up, and set it on fire, because all it's gonna get you is more of what you already have. The real problem, which, by the way, no one ever talks about, is that everywhere we look in society, we celebrate victimhood. We are no longer celebrating people who put in the work. We are no longer celebrating people who overcome. Instead, we are celebrating people who have the saddest story. Well, let me tell you something, guys. You can compete for that your entire life and nobody's gonna bring you a motherfucking thing except a couple likes and a couple bullshit comments that people don't mean. The real winners are still and always will be the people who aren't immune from obstacles, but instead see obstacles as an opportunity to get better. They see this as the path to winning, and they are right. If you're sitting there at home and you're posting sad story after sad story after sad story, realize that that's all you're ever gonna fucking have. And I would suggest that instead of seeing life through the perspective of who's going to be the biggest winner of the losers, start being who's going to be the biggest winner, because it shows people, the people who are coming after you in this life, what's possible.
Most people never succeed in life because they're waiting for conditions to be perfect. They're waiting for the sun to shine, the temperature to be right, all the stars to align, and then have some sort of sign that tells them to go. And I'm here to tell you guys that will never happen. Conditions will never be perfect. Things will never align. There will always be a reason for you to put off what should be done right now for a later time. That is a success and life truth. Things are always going to be off. You're never going to have to do something. You're always going to be able to find a reason as to put it off. That's what people do that lose. Winners are going to go regardless of what the circumstances are, and losers are always going to wait until the perfect time. And you understand that the perfect time will never come, which is why they never become anything. You are going to have days that are hard. You are going to have days where you don't want to do what needs to be done. You are going to have days where you would literally rather fucking die than do what you're supposed to do. You'd rather stay in bed all day. I get it, dude. I am no different, and anybody who performs on a high level is no different. The only difference is that the work gets done regardless of the circumstances. And the point that I really want you guys to understand today, it's always hardest and most difficult right before the good shit. Okay, you've all heard the saying, it's always darkest before the dawn. That is a truth. And that's not just a truth in this program, it's a truth in your journey of life, in your pursuit of success, in your pursuit of winning whatever it is that you're trying to win. Today might be really fucking hard for you. Today might be one of those days where you have to push through consciously, literally every minute of your day. We all have the days where literally every single moment is a conscious push, is a forceful action. And those days really aren't that fun. But let me tell you guys, those are the days that build you. Those are the days that make you strong. Those are the days that your success and your future and your dreams are built upon. So cherish those days, those difficult, hard days. Learn to appreciate them, because everything else great in your life is going to be built off of those days. And the benefit is, right after those days, you're going to have a little bit of sunshine. That little bit of sunshine might last for a day, might last for a week. Stay focused, stay committed, don't compromise, don't cut corners. And when you have to, force yourself through. You're going to be thankful that you did. Tell me one thing in your life that is great that came as a result of being comfortable. Because everywhere I look and everywhere I see in today's society, everybody's doing everything they can to be more comfortable. They're looking for the more convenience. They're looking for the quicker. They're looking for the faster. And see, there's opportunity in that for those of you that want to get better. Because I'm going to tell you right now, all the great things in my life, all the great things in other high achievers' lives, all the reasons that these successful people that you look up to, that you aspire to be like, are the way they are, have all come from a place of being uncomfortable. That's just a fact, okay? So understand that when you're trying to avoid the pain, when you're trying to avoid the struggle, when you're trying to avoid the hard things in life, you are actively choosing to be average. You are actively choosing to be mediocre. And you are actively choosing to move further away from what you want in life. Because that hardship and that pain and that struggle and that frustration, they give you the skills that will forge you into a motherfucking champion. All right, so remember that shit when you try to take the easy route. The easy route never pays well. The only route in life that pays well is the hard route. The struggle, the pain, the frustration, and the overcoming of those things. The adversity, the struggle, the hard times, the difficult things, the frustration. Those are the things that create our skill sets. Those are the lessons that we learn that give us the skills to then put the skills into play and produce a better life. And if you think about it, it makes sense why we avoid the adversity, right? Like why we run from it. Our whole lives are all, taught around convenience, quick, easy, fast fix. Every piece of marketing that we see out there is about results now. And the truth of the matter is life just doesn't work that way, guys. It's not a realistic way of thinking. There's not one thing that's great in your life that you got without having to push through something, all right? Name me one thing, like one thing that you're super proud of, that you're super enthusiastic about, that you are super prideful about, that you didn't have to fucking earn. We live in a world right now that celebrates victimhood.
It's a competition now about who has the biggest challenges, not who's overcome the biggest challenges. And I'm going to tell you right now, the world is going to reward people who overcome the challenges. So when you see everybody else working to make their life easier, more convenient, basically looking to cut all the hard things out of their life, we could talk about and whine about and cry about everything in our lives, but there's only one thing that's going to change it, and that's actually taking action towards the place that you want to go. This is always going to be true. What you put in will produce the output. If you guys don't wake the fuck up and understand what the world's really about, you're going to lose. And not only are you going to lose, your kids are going to lose, and their kids are going to lose, because you guys have been indoctrinated by the education system, by your parents, by your teachers, to believe that everything is just going to happen for you.
I'm not the best at anything. I'm not gifted. I'm just driven. I'm a guy that came from nothing. Anybody's capable of doing shit like this. Anybody. And I sat in that tub. She put the water on me. She called my mom up. My mom was dating a doctor at the time. The doctor said, you need to get him to a hospital now. She came back in. All I wanted to do was call Chris Costner on the phone and race director of Badwater so I can get it. So she said, I'm taking you to the doctor. I said, no, let me sit here and enjoy this pain. She said, what are you talking about? I said, I need to go to the doctor. I realized that. But I never thought it was humanly possible to do what I did. I went 70 miles. And at 70 miles, I was dead. I was at 100%. What I thought was 100%. I went 31 more miles after being in the worst physical shape I've ever been in my life. As I sat in that tub and the waters hit me, it was the most amazing feeling of accomplishment. I did this. And as crazy as it sounds, it was the most amazing moment of my entire life. To come from this kid who was mentally torturing himself and was tortured to this guy now, who was able to overcome such amazing odds and obstacles. And I called Chris Costner, the race director of Badwater, and he said, the idea of a 24-hour race is to run 24 hours. You only ran 19. And he put doubt in my mind that you would let me to Badwater. 2 weeks later, roughly, December 5th, was this marathon that we all signed up for. I couldn't walk. I could not walk. I ran 100 miles before I ran a marathon. 10 days or 2 weeks after this 100 mile in one race I did, this marathon, December 5th in Las Vegas. That gun went off 2005, 14 days after I broke myself off, and I qualified for the Boston Marathon. I ran 3:08. Like, the gun went off and that thing came back. Like, all right, man, what if? Then I went to the Hurt 100, race in Hawaii, 26,000 feet of climbing over 100 miles. Probably one of the top 5 hardest 100-mile races in the world. Out there and got through the race. Did it in 33 hours, was the 9th place finisher, and I qualified for Badwater and got in. I went on to lose weight and train hard, and I got 5th my first year and went back my second year and got third. I'm not the best at anything. I'm not gifted. I'm just driven. Out of the 100 men that go into war, 10 shouldn't be there. 80 of them are just targets. 9 do most of the fighting. 1 is a warrior. I saw it going through training. I saw it everywhere I went. There's so many people who just show up to life.
There's something about talking to a guy like you that a lot of people hope that you're going to say some magic thing that's going to click in their brain. What you're saying is that you have to do those things. You have to suffer. You have to live in it. You have to be comfortable in it. And then maybe some of that shit will help you a little bit along the way.
See me now as the guy that with his shirt off, who can do 4,030 pull-ups in 17 hours, who can run 205 miles in 39 hours, who can do all this crazy shit. But what they don't understand is they don't understand the journey that it took me to get to this point. And what got me to this point was I was just the opposite of what I am today. I was that guy who ran away from absolutely everything that got in front of me. I wanted to quit so badly, but I quit everything in my life. I copied through school. I wanted to prove people wrong. And so here I am in this Air Force program, starting to get a little more confidence, but this water was kicking my ass. And 6 weeks into the program, the doctor gave me a blood test. It was I have sickle cell. So they put me out of training for a week. And when you go from being very uncomfortable in that water situation, and then now you're comfortable, and I'm sitting back watching the guys drown. I'm not part of the activities anymore for this week. I didn't want to get back in that damn water again. So the fear overcame me, and all my insecurities from my dad, from this small town, from everything started coming back. Me not wanting to go back in that water, the doctor called me back up. I thought I was gonna get like a medical kick out of the military. So no quitting for me. They'll kick me out so I can have some pride. The doctor said, no, man, we can put you back into training. And the sergeant said, hey, you got to start from day one because you missed, that week of training. And I broke. I couldn't imagine going back through that again. And I pretty much quit. Even though they gave me a medical, I quit. So from the age of 19 to the age of 22, I went and did a job called TAC-P, where you control fast movers behind enemy lines. Cool job, but there's no water. I was afraid of the water, so I avoided it. And I gained 125 pounds in that time frame. I went from 175 to almost 300, to 297 was my heaviest. And I started finding things that was comfortable. And the more things I found comfortable, the more uncomfortable my mind was. Because that voice I was telling you about, it always was there. I was just trying to avoid that conscience. I wanted to be left alone from that conscience, and it wouldn't leave me alone. So I got out of the Air Force, and I started working for a job called Ecolab, where you spray for cockroaches at 24, and spraying at different steak and shakes, Red Lobster, whatever, from 11 o'clock at night to 7 o'clock in the morning. And what changed, I came home and watched this Discovery Channel show, Class 224. I came home from Steak and Shake. I sprayed it down last, get a big old large 42-ounce shake, walk across the street and get a box of mini donuts from 7-Eleven. And I would drive home for 45 minutes. This big old fat guy was watching these guys going through Hell Week, Class 224. And these guys ringing the bell, quitting, dropping their helmet down, rolling out. A lot of guys just leaving. And it made me reflect on my fears, my insecurities. And I saw real men, what I thought were real men who were staying, who were overcoming adversity, who were overcoming all these different things that I had blamed so many fucking people in my life, my dad, my mom for not being there. Everybody was to blame. My learning disability, my skin color, me being everything. And so I sat there for a while and I was like, I got it. No one's gonna fucking come to help me. No one's gonna fucking come to help me. It's fucking me against me, period. And so I had to man up. I'm exactly what people said I was gonna be. But a lot of us have these fears that you just don't want to fucking fix. I have a lot of them. I had a lot of them. And that's what created the person who's in front of you today. I had two options. To either be that 300-pound guy who sprayed for cockroaches and made $1,000 a month, and at 24 years old, knowing when I'm 50 fucking years old, I can reflect on this and think about what guy I never became, or I can totally just sack it up and fail and fail and fail until I succeed. To get into the class I had to get into, I had to lose 106 pounds in less than 3 months. Can't do that. I grabbed my chocolate milkshake and went back to Ecolab. I'm going back to work, man. This is my life. Next morning, or this next night, I went to work and I don't like cockroaches too much. I hit the mother load of cockroaches. And this restaurant got full of cockroaches and rodents and everything else. And I sat there and said, this is my life. This is it. I quit my job, left my canister in that restaurant, my spray canister, got back in my Ecolab truck, and I went home. And I started working out like somebody. I became the most obsessed person on the planet Earth. And I said, this ain't gonna be it for me. We all want to read about how we can quickly get somewhere. That's why the 6-minute ab is so powerful. You may get some results from it, but they're not permanent. The permanent result comes from you. And I say it all the time. You have to suffer. You have to make that a tattoo on your brain, so when that hard time comes again, you don't forget it.
The immediate impression that everyone would consider of me, and I hear this all the time, is that Jocko would allow no slack whatsoever, no mercy on anything, right? You're out of regulations, I'm gonna drop the hammer on you. Well, the fact of the matter is, that doesn't work as a leader. In the military, people wear patches on their uniforms. Well, the SEAL teams has a reputation for being very unprofessional, don't really know how to wear our uniforms well. We don't wear our uniforms a lot. We have mix and match gear. We buy civilian gear, we wear that. We just have a bad reputation. And one of the things that once the war started and we started getting these high-speed camouflage uniforms with Velcro everywhere, well, guys started making their own patches. And the patches were, some of them were just cool, whatever, some skull or a knife or whatever.
Guys making their own patches?
Guys make their own patches. Here's a typical one. There's one that guys would make that say fun meter. And it would be a meter that's pegged like, okay, we're maxed out on fun here. That's a typical kind of the type of thing that people would make. Well, I knew from working with the conventional forces that the way you appear in a uniform is very important. You were in the Army, especially at an airborne division. I mean, you wear the same PT uniform, you wear the same uniform, you have it squared away all the time. That's the way it is. And I knew that also soldiers and officers in the Army and Marines and Marine Corps, when they look at someone that's out of uniform, they look at that person and says, hey, this guy can't even put on a uniform, right? How am I going to trust him out on the battlefield? That's just the mindset that they have. It's a good mindset, right? If you don't have attention to detail on that stuff, that's a problem. Well, in the SEAL teams, we're real slack about that. I said to my guys, look, we're not wearing patches, no patches. And my 2 platoon commanders, they said, okay, fine, no patches, we won't wear patches. But they really wanted to wear patches. So behind my back, they went and they got patches made, task unit bruiser patches. What they would do is, if they were going on an operation that I wasn't going on, when they'd roll out the wire, they'd make a call on the radio and say, patches on, and they'd pull out their patches and put their patches on. They basically disobeyed a direct order from me. Would have been fine, except for there was a certain operation that they went on, there was an embedded photographer on. And the pictures came back, and I had all the pictures. And I see all my guys with patches that I told them not to wear. You know what I did? I didn't do anything.
You didn't bring it up?
I didn't bring it up. I realized, number one, we were fighting in a very hard environment where troops were getting wounded and killed every single day.
Where were you at this time?
We were at Ramadi.
Okay.
For me to focus my leadership capital on something that small was a complete waste of my leadership capital. Number two, I realized that these guys, that was a boost in their morale. That made them feel like a tighter unit. They gave these patches out to Army guys. That was a big deal for them. And it meant a lot to them. And so for me to go in and rip that morale away from them would have been a downstep in their vision of me and their respect for me, and it would have antagonized our relationship. I didn't come out and say, hey guys, I saw the patches, you're fine to wear them. And Leif was talking about this, he thought I was just gonna drop the hammer on him. And I didn't say anything. And the guys continued to do it, and it was not a big deal. Now, they didn't wear any inappropriate patches. The patches that they wore were all the same, so it was uniform. But the answer to your question, which is probably the opposite of what a lot of people think I'm gonna say, is like, what are you gonna waste your leadership capital on? Now, the other side of the spectrum, if you get someone that's doing something that's illegal, that's immoral, that's strategic, that's gonna impact you strategically, yeah, I will not budge on something that is that important to me.
I wanna tell you something else, and I wanna make this clear. Don't just listen. Don't just listen, do. I'm not just talking. So I'm not just talking. I'm doing. And I don't want you to just listen. Put this information to work. Make today count. Every day. Go forward. Get aggressive and attack, whether it's on the battlefield or on the beat or in the factory or on the farm or on the construction site or on the website, in the garage or in the firehouse. Don't hesitate. Step forward and get after it.
So if you're working for me, I say, hey, I want you to do this mission, Patrick. Come up with a plan. I'm showing you that I trust what your plan's gonna be. Now, I'm gonna make sure that your plan is good. I'm gonna review it, but I'm gonna give you a lot of autonomy. I'm gonna give you trust. And when I give you trust, well, what's your reaction? You think to yourself, this guy trusts me.
Yep.
And then the way I build trust in reverse is when you make a mistake, instead of me jumping down your throat and hanging you out to dry, instead I say, okay, you know what? My fault. I should have given you better direction. Here's what we're gonna do next time. So now you look at me and you go, hey, I screwed this thing up and Jocko still trusts me. I trust him. And that's how I build trust. I give it.
You give it.
I give trust to build trust.
If I'm really putting an effort, but my plan maybe not the best plan, you're still going to give me second chances to work on it and get better at it?
I will micromanage you more. I can't trust you as much. We do a business deal or we're in business. I don't send you out with the biggest client I've got when I just met you and say, hey, I trust you. No, I give you a little client and I say, hey, go make this happen. And you come back and you say, hey, look, I did it. And I say, great. And you trust me a little bit more. Or maybe you screw that one up. And I say, okay, let me review. What'd you do? What mistakes got made? And you say, oh, well, I did this. And okay, we correct that. But I don't come down hard on you because I'm trying to build a relationship with you. Mm-hmm. If I come down hard on you, do you even want to work for me? Do you even want to be, if I come down, this is pathetic, you screwed this up, this is your fault, you're looking for another job. Come on. Right. Whereas if I say, okay, let's look at what we can do better, then I'm building the trust. But you might be very trustworthy for many years, and then all of a sudden you go out and you do something underhanded with a client, you try and rip them off or rip me off. Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna have trust for me anymore.
I need a mission. We all need a mission. That's what life should be, is a mission. That's what gives your life purpose and focus and drive and ultimately satisfaction. Now, that mission can be the job you work at. It can be providing for your family, or it can be getting better at jiu-jitsu, or stronger at Olympic lifting, or starting a business that you want to grow and build and take over the world. And sometimes people ask me what to do if they don't know what their mission is or what their mission should be. And I tell them, if they're in that situation, to go help someone. Go help someone else. Make that your mission. Because that will make you better. And it'll make the world better. And eventually from that, you'll see what your mission is. No matter how bad it is going to be, when there is a challenge. And by a challenge, I mean anything in life, any challenge, anything that you're facing. The only way to overcome the challenges that you face is to start walking. Take that step every day, no matter what you are facing. Get up and start walking. You've lived a life dominated by doubt and fear. How do you step into bravery? Step. That's how you step into bravery. Step. Take the step. Step aggressively towards your fear. And that step towards your fear is the step into bravery. Because we're scared of what we don't know. And there is only one way to learn and to know, and that is to confront that fear. You have to step, you have to go. And this simple action, this simple attitude, it answers so many questions. So many questions. How do you get to the gym every day? You step. You go. How do you change your diet? You step. You go. How do you overcome fear of failure or fear of success or fear of fear itself? You step. And how do you face the fear of the unknown? You step. Don't wait anymore. Don't think anymore. Don't plan anymore. Don't contemplate anymore. Don't make any more excuses or justifications. Don't rationalize anything else. No, no, and no. Instead, be aggressive. Take action now.